doing the.
Right.
You're
Do
not
I?
quite
Do I need to? Am
You're
I?
not on the
Oh,
camera.
yeah.
There we
it's,
are.
it's good that we
See,
have somebody here.
And
Right.
that's new for me. I actually have somebody monitoring us today instead of me having to get up. Yeah, do what you need to do, man. I appreciate all the assistance.
We got our 1,000 guy. We call him Mike TV. He's got it all going on.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
We need
We've
him
got
for all our gigs now.
I'm saying we were just talking about how we need to like find a way to clone me,
Right.
so we have a second me to function this
Yeah,
while
we
I'm
need
doing
her back
this.
there and up here at the same time. So there you go.
But for,
Today's going to be an extra special episode because we're going to have some extra help.
and for recording purposes, we are here for Entertainment After Dark with Boston C.
And Bowtie.
Episode 18 with special guest B-Man from Fear State. How are you, B-Man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show, on the podcast. It's honored to be asked to do something like this. It really is.
Man, it's great to be here in your comic shop, Fear
Yes.
State's comic shop
I
here.
mean, yeah,
It's
this
a-
is just like,
It's like a secret location. Nobody knows we practice here, but we take pictures of it all the time.
right. I mean, it's the first thing that grabbed my attention about the band Fear State was like, this band has their own comic books. What in the world? I got to check more into this band.
Yeah.
And that was what first grabbed my attention. So I just thought, hey, when we get to do the podcast with B-Man, we got to see if we can do it in the comic shop.
Oh yes, yes.
And of course, you were very accommodating, and we appreciate that.
Well, I'm glad today is one of those days where the weather's right, because as we told you earlier, we've had some AC problems and we're supposed to get the whole thing replaced, and we were able to move to 5. Plus, to top it off, the weather is just permitted it to be really nice today in here.
Yeah, it feels good in here right now. I mean, I know when we first got here, Boston was running around. She got a little warm, but hey, it's nice now. I feel like
I'm comfortable right now.
Yeah.
Took off my sweatshirt. We're chilling. I like the fans. We got a good airflow. Those fans, I need to know where you got them. I know, total rabbit hole, but somebody brought me one of those fans to one of my gigs recently, and I'm in love with them as stage fans. I need some of those, man.
Go to Amazon. That's where I got it
Oh,
from
we
Amazon.
live on Amazon.
There you
Say
go.
less.
There you go.
Say less.
So,
David, I know you're listening. I know you're listening.
So
Amazing.
I used to play in a band called The Fifth way back in the day, and the sound guy, which it's a whole story about the Fear State, the way it worked out. But he brought one of those fans, and we're playing in the summertime here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I'm dying, and they've got the fan on their sound gun. So between sets, I'd be like moving over there. Actually, we're doing the side move over there. So it was like getting, it's like, man. So when we started playing, I said, I need one of those fans. I went into Amazon, found one, and that was it.
Yeah, those are awesome. And going back to, we're not going to totally rabbit hole on the comic books the whole show, but I did, want to mention our background with the comic books, and I even spotted one. There's even a She-Hulk comic book up there.
I was just eyeballing that as you said it. I was just getting ideas for my Halloween costume this year. Like, honestly, I've been thinking about what should I be, and maybe I just need to come look at this wall and get some ideas.
Right. I think I was in like 3rd grade when the first She-Hulk comic book came out. I remember collecting them as a kid.
Call
That
me a
that
noob, but
first
I didn't know
run.
she existed.
Right. She's even had a TV show at this point, Boston. Come
she
on,
has.
I mean, you're way behind on your comic book knowledge.
I mean, she's my favorite color. You think I would have followed her?
You're right. Yes, Boston's gonna be totally green this Halloween, so we're looking forward to that.
Don't put it past me. My hair's halfway there. I will go head to toe. I have painted myself before. Don't play with me.
Right. Do y'all have a Halloween costume things here in the shop, or
As far as the way we,
like cosplay type things, events, or
we do have we usually do an event usually called Halloween Comic Fest, and we do it's a big vendor thing, and a big vendor, but we give away some free comics that day as well, and we have like cosplay contests, stuff like that, and it's a branch off what they started doing. Like the first Saturday of every May comic store called Free Comic Book Day, which we have one coming up here Saturday, May 2nd. Just plugging it here.
I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you about that. I
So,
did see that.
It's an event that started, and it happens around the country and in the world on this day.
Oh, wow.
It's like it became a thing about 20 years ago or so.
Free
It's called
Comic
Free
Book
Comic
Day.
Book Day, and we've turned it here at the store. We turned it more to an event where you can actually make it a big family event, but we also raise money for charities, and the charity that we picked out for this one is called the Karen Chandler Trust. and it just so happens that I became the the head chairman a couple years ago. My wife was the head chairwoman, and then I just happened to drop in, and so we use that platform here to also do that, and they help cancer patients out with their bills and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
That is awesome. I saw like you're gonna have food trucks
Yes.
and so it's gonna
We sometimes we
or
have
at least
truck.
a food
Yeah,
truck. Maybe.
but this one we're having actually. There's another charity club here in town called Cape Beard, and they for the last few years they've been cooking for us, and all the money they make goes towards the
Oh,
Cancer
wow.
Challenge runs.
So, okay.
and they're a great organization here in the Fayetteville area, the Cape Beard. They're pretty good guys. So we've got
that's wonderful.
also some local artists coming in and doing some stuff here in town, doing stuff. The guy, matter of fact, the guy who did the Die Hard book. He's
Oh,
gonna be,
okay.
Rob Pochik is going to be here doing
Oh,
some
that's cool.
signings and for his stuff here as well. So
That sounds awesome.
Now, have y'all come out with more episodes of your comic book, or is it kind of?
no, not yet. So the way that started out was a few years ago. People started doing these exclusive covers for certain stores. So we're doing covers, and so we did one a couple years ago, and we said let's put me on it, and I was being killed by the person, and I was killed. My head's getting chopped off, and I sold out. I literally sold out that book. So I said, you know what? If we're gonna do exclusives, let's put me on there. And I'm not trying to boost my ego, but people go, hey man, it's the guy who owns the comic store. Let's go ahead and do this. So
Yeah, that's
what
cool.
I decided to do was I said, hey, why don't we do the same thing, but we'll do a triple promotion. We'll do the band, and we'll do the comic book, and we'll do the store. And what I did was I ended up taking the band members. Each comic has a band member, and of course we're closed and we got people knocking, but it's okay.
Right.
But,
in case y'all hear that knocking, speak with that.
yeah. So
We do our best to block out that background noise,
Yes.
but sometimes we catch a little feedback.
yeah, it's all good. But yeah, so that's what we did. So we decided on every cover we're gonna put one of the band members getting killed by this rabbit. So the book is
cool.
called Die Hard, and it's of course an homage or a tribute to the whole Die Hard series.
Right.
Instead of being on Christmas, it's the Easter Bunny, and so. Of course, I get cut off on the first cover. The second cover has the two kids, and at the time they said, well, since they're under 18, we don't want to kill them. So what they ended up doing was doing the carbonite, kind of like in Star Wars, where they put Han Solo and carbonite in Empire Strikes Back. And so it was funny because we're calling it carbonite, and then my daughter goes, "Hey, Daddy, what if we instead of making carbonite, make it chocolate?" And I go, oh my God. And all the artists were like,
Right.
they're like, we didn't even think of that. So then I just
Right.
they put them in chocolate. And so they didn't want to kill the kids off, so they put them in chocolate night, as they say.
That's awesome.
And of course, then the third one is them getting is I think Josh is getting killed with the mic stand, and Jamil is getting killed with the guitar. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So we kind of got our own comics. We've talked about doing some other stuff. I've had a lot of people draw pictures of the B-Man, and so we're thinking about doing like a comic book. We talked about doing a comic book, so
Yeah,
of
that's
some
cool.
sort, if not just like a pinup book of all the people in the band.
That'd be awesome.
That's awesome. I'm over here thinking like, how do we get in on this? How does Bowtie Entertainment feature with Fear State in a comic? That'd be so fun.
Well, he
I'll
just said
do
the
that.
artist is going to be here on that day. That maybe.
I'll do some stuff. We'll get you drawn in there, getting killed or something.
There you go.
Hey, kill me off. If I'm in a comic, kill me off.
And then you could take.
I'd be honored.
You could take it to your shows, and then you go, "Hey, buy a book." See,
Look.
see
That's what I'm saying.
that was the whole promotional. So
Yeah.
that comes back from just owning a comic store. How can I promote? the
Because I've thought
band?
about making us coloring books for the kids at
That would
shows
be
and
cool.
stuff,
Yes,
but I
for
never
sure.
thought how cool it would be to just have a little comic book.
Well, even a coloring book would be really cool. What do you
Right?
think about it?
A comic book with a coloring section in the back.
There you go. Or you do a black and white comic, and then they can color it.
I like the way you think.
So
But yeah, I said we wasn't going to rabbit hole on the comic
Here
book
we
too
are.
much, and here we're going
it's all good.
Do we
It's all-
expect any less?
right.
Fueled by ADHD.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all
And
part of our
smoothies.
world. It's all
I
part
mean,
of our
I knew Boston didn't know like a whole bunch about that world, so I wasn't trying to leave her out. And then she's over here egging it on, keeping it going. So I don't feel too bad. So we're talking about comic books, but hey, that's part of a lot of our childhoods, and I mean, obviously part of your your younger days too. I would say.
It's fun. It's funny because back when I first started the comic store, well, I ended up buying the comic store, but I took over in like 1993, and it's really weird because back then having a female in a comic store was like seeing a velociraptor. It was like seeing a velociraptor.
Right. Okay.
But because of like the Big Bang Theory, and because of the comics becoming movies, man, we get them all the time, and it's weird
Right.
because sometimes it's the opposite. It used to be the guy would come in, the girl would come sit on the couch. Now we'll see it more often where the girl's looking, the female's looking for the comics, and the guy's just standing there. And I'll go,
Right.
no. So I said, well, they got a couch if you want to go sit down. So we got the couch for the people to feel comfortable who's not reading the comics. That's why we have the couch in the store.
Right. Hey, it's a comfortable couch.
It really is.
We had a really, really comfortable one, and then we were shooting a promo for one of the wrestling shows we were doing, and my old singer goes, "Man, I want to be slammed on it. I want. Who was it? Can't remember who the wrestler was. He was in here. We were doing the promo, and I can't believe he's gonna kill me when I see him. Like, you couldn't remember me. You couldn't remember who I was, and so Smitty decides I want to slam legs, and he jumps on the couch. He just falls back, and you can hear the couch go crack, and we're like, you just broke the couch.
So what do y'all do for the wrestling promotions? Like, are y'all actually involved in actually wrestling, or y'all do music for them?
We were doing we played at a former one. I can't even remember the name of the title. It was the name of the name of the company is Wendell's Gonna Kill Me. Well, they went out. They closed down, but we
Okay.
were doing some stuff within Lumberton. We played the show, and one of the show that we went to, Ryder's like, because the Ryder's a big fan of wrestling. He's like, I want to get slammed. I want to get in the ring.
Right.
And then of course they're like, well, we can't really do it because you're underage. But
Right.
we'll have you sign something.
I was gonna say, is there even a waiver for
Yeah.
that?
So
Underage?
so Smitty, who broke the couch, the original singer, he signed the waiver. And so during the match, they all came in and he started, just talking crap about Lumberton. And so the guy comes in, he takes him, and he looks at him, and he ends up slamming him. Then he picked up Ryder and basically put Ryder slammed on top of it. So it was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So we're talking about doing another one with one of the other wrestling companies here in town. So we'll see.
Yeah, I used to promote wrestling when I lived in Tennessee.
Did you?
Oddly enough, a little independent wrestling, is what we called them back in those days, because this was back in the '90s whenever I was doing this. So, but yeah, so that's why I was asking, because yeah, that's pretty interesting. It's just like we had, and our guest last week was a friend of ours who was at the Karaoke World Championship last year with us, but he lives up in Virginia, and he just opened up for like a wrestling show. He got in the ring and was singing "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor,"
Oh, that's cool.
and so he jumped up in the ring while he was singing it, and it was really good. The crowd was going crazy. I mean, perfect song, like some ECW stuff going on there. It looked like.
That's pretty
Right.
cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Speaking of wrestling, so a couple of my friends, you probably know who they are. They're in the area. Jeff and Matt Hardy.
Oh yeah.
So I met Jeff and Matt when I used to play in my former band, and it's early 2000s. And I met Jeff because the tattooist, our guy that did the tattoos, named Kerry, who passed away back in December. Rest in peace, Kerry. He did our tattoos, and he was doing Jeff one day because Kerry used to do some wrestling, and then he hurt his back, so he just started tattooing. And he calls me and goes, "Hey man, come on up here, come to the store. I want you to meet somebody." So I walk in there, and it's freaking Jeff Hardy. I'm like,
Right.
and he's like, and you gotta act cool. "Hey man, what's going on?" He's like, "Hey," and we start talking music. Jeff is a big music fan, of course.
Yes,
Have
I've
you
seen some of his
He
music,
loves
yeah.
music, and so we just start talking, and I said, "Hey man, I'm gonna ask you one question, one wrestling question. I'll never ask you another one again because I don't want to be that guy."
Right.
And I said, "How did it feel in WrestleMania when you got speared off holding on to the belt?" And he's like, "Well, I was hanging on the belt, and he spears me. We hit the ground." He goes, "And man," he goes, I just lose it because, I lose my breath." And he goes, "And then we heard the pops of the crowd." And he goes, "It was all worth it." And I was like, "That's awesome." And
The
I thought,
adrenaline rush,
the
yeah.
adrenaline rush. And I was like, "I'll never ask you another wrestling again. Nothing about wrestling ever again." And I never did because I didn't want to be that guy.
Right.
But Jeff is a really great guy, and it's funny because Ryder, my nephew, I took him to his first wrestling show, and I think it was TNA at the time, and I got him to, I got tickets from Jeff and Beth, his wife, wonderful couple, but he comes out and he sees him, and I think Ryder was probably 4, maybe 5, and we take him out and he saw Velvet Sky. And he immediately became a fan.
Right.
And, of course, Velvet Sky and Jeff Hardy were his thing. So he just became a pure wrestling fan, and so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I noticed when we came in, we had WrestleMania about the pre-show on here,
yes.
so I was like, they got all kind of stuff in common with the B-Man here.
We're of that age.
Right. We come from that attitude era, so we got
Yep.
good stuff. But Boston, do you want to steer us back in the right
Same.
direction?
So-
This boat's gonna go
We're
keep
going
sailing.
this way.
We're gonna
She's
keep-
going.
I mean-
Let me talk.
I mean, hey, as long as we're on the topic of entertainment.
Right.
But
We're
B-Man,
definitely talking about entertainment.
I wanted to ask you about that music video that
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys did. That Bowtie got a chance to
To be in.
be a
Yeah.
part of.
And it was actually-
when's the next one that I can be in on?
It was actually funny because that's we saw that video, you got your podcast talking
Yeah.
about it, and it was funny because we pulled up, and it was a strip club.
Right? We did not realize. So, because Beth is like, we wouldn't expect that out of Beth, that she's going to be bringing us to a strip club. That was hilarious.
I watch back and I see the clips of Duncan in there, and I'm
Right.
like, what?
We know Duncan's underage.
Like,
We're like,
why was
wow.
I working for this?
Why was my
So-
mom definitely would have never done that when I was his age, take me to the strip club. for
so-
I
a
want it on the
video.
next one, all right?
So you know how back in the 80s, and everything is redone, and there's part
Right.
of rock and roll, to me, was kind of lost in the 90s because it became, I mean, it was good music. The music had to change because hair bands had become so mainstream that parents started to love it. And when parents start to love something,
Then the kids don't.
the
love it
kids
no
don't.
more.
And
Right.
for me, I personally hated the whole Nirvana grunge thing. But as I got older, I understood that.
Right.
So it was it was there. So, something was missing out of rock and roll that started happening in the early 2000s because all those bands were either they're older, and there was like some other people they're just older. And they remember what it was like to put on these big live shows,
Right.
and they wanted to get to be a little dirty, and the whole what was big drug, sex, and rock and roll way back in the day, right?
Right.
So what was kind of missing was the whole dancer thing, and we had that with like Motley Crue with girls, and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And so like I said, in my former band, we knew the manager of the general manager of the strip club that we did the video in, and
Right.
and he left and he came back, and we got back in touch. We started talking to music. He said, "Hey man, if you ever want to do anything at the club, we'll do it again." Because we did a photo shoot back in the day. So I said, "Man, I'd like to do another photo shoot with these guys." And it's kind of funny because we were talking about the underage thing,
Right.
So if you don't know it, my grandson is the guitar player in the band. He was at the time when we do this. When he started, he was 14, and Ryder, the drummer, so my
Right.
nephew, is 15. So when we started playing the clubs, they were 14 and 15 years old.
Right.
So now, 2 years later, uncle and grandfather want to take them to do a photo shoot at a strip club. But it was, of course, during the daytime, so there's nobody there.
Yeah.
But we wanted the ambience of it.
Yeah.
So then they were talking about, hey, let's do the video. And they're older now, so they're sure we'll do it. So we did the video. We arranged it. We were doing a show. We put a show on that day as well. And Jesse Lemons, who was the general manager, he was so helpful, and he was just, hey man, let's do the show. Let's have you do a video. So that's what we did. We wanted to have fun, and that's what we kind of wanted to do. So that's
Yeah.
why we did it in the strip club or Boston. So
It was awesome.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, going back to just a little snippet about wrestling there. A lot of those wrestlers back in the early days, they would start wrestling at 14 and 15, and they would just put them under a mask.
Yeah.
And they would go out there and wrestle and be underage, and people would not even realize
Those
how
must
young
have
these
been some
people were.
real big 14 and 15-year-olds.
Oh, there were some big old boys back then, but in Mexico they can get away with it because You know, a lot of the
Oh yeah, I remember
a
when
lot of the
when-
luchadors.
Yeah,
They start very young there.
I remember when they took the mask off Rey Mysterio. You're like, who's that kid?
Right, exactly.
He looked like a little
And
kid.
he'd been wrestling 20 years and he
Yeah,
looked
it's
like a
like,
kid.
good
Right. He's so experienced at that young
You
age.
start out the womb.
Right. That's what it seemed like. But yeah, it was a wrestling family. It was all very, very tight knit back in the day.
Yeah,
So
for sure, for sure. I still think they got some of that. You know, where these days, it's weird because everything is business now. But you can see when some of these wrestlers get together, they're still tight.
right.
I think they lost a little bit because back in the day, these guys would get on the road and they would travel for days in the
Right.
car together, and it was weird because you see Ric Flair hanging out with somebody else, and you go, wait a minute. If you see him in hanging out, then all of a sudden you see him in the ring.
Yeah.
I guess that they came change the Attitude Era when they started calling it. The Rock called it what entertainment.
Right. So that sports entertainment.
Sports
so
entertainment, that's
there
it,
you go. Yeah.
So Boston, I hear you play music, right?
Yes, I do in fact play some music.
Yeah, we're
I
talking
don't
about music.
just do
here.
karaoke. I'm glad you noticed. Not a lot of people have.
So I know that I'm gonna now let me go on the interview thing. So
Right.
the whole Boston thing, I asked you that before. So Boston just because where you're from.
Yep.
So how did you end up in Southern Pines?
So we usually don't talk about too much personal stuff, but I'll briefly explain why I'm here and how I ended up here.
So you don't even have to go there.
No, it's not wild. It's not wildly personal.
No.
I'm sure people are curious why I go by Boston, how I ended up in North Carolina.
Well, so being here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, right outside Fort Bragg, we get a lot of the same story that they ended up with somebody here, and then they.
Oh no, that's not my story.
Oh, okay.
So my mom actually built a house down here when I was pregnant with my first child.
Okay.
And my ex-husband, at the time when we were still together, he wanted his truck driver's license. So we decided, well, my mom has a house down here. The school he wants to go to is right on the border of North Carolina and Virginia. No brainer. Let's come down here. I've
Cool.
got the support of my mother. Came down on my daughter's first birthday. And lived here for a year while he went to school and got his first job. We moved back, but when we separated, I actually came back down.
Cool.
I love North Carolina.
Yeah, that's cool. There's I was telling you, I know a guy from Boston.
Boston.
Yeah, Boston. So kind of same story. This guy's uncle moved down here. This is like mid '80s. So like I said, his uncle moved here. Then his mom moved down here. So he decides to move down here, and he brings his whole band.
Oh, my whole family has come down here.
Really?
Down to my godmother, her children.
I heard
Some
that
of my
accent.
brothers are down here. My stepbrothers, I have stepbrothers. My blood brother moved down here at one point, moved back home to Connecticut area. Everyone has came down to see what the buzz in North Carolina is.
Well, even Dee Snyder moved here from California, and so Ricky Reitman, also from Headbangers Ball, he moved to North Carolina as well. But the guy, he comes down here and with his band, and we play shows, and we're talking about this 85, 86. We're just all hanging out, and this guy, he goes back to Boston, and then a few years later, he just pops up, and with his band. His band's name is Godsmack.
No way.
Yes, so Sully Erna used to live here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. If you actually watch his documentary that he's got on Amazon, it shows it, and he talks about how he moved down here. Then he talks about the years, and it's funny. I'm sitting there watching it with my daughter, and this poster comes up of the show, and I'm looking at this poster, and it took me like 5 seconds to go, "That's my band." So they used one of the posters. So we played the shows with Sully back, and then we hung out with Sully, and but it was funny. It took me like 5 seconds, and I looked at my daughter, and go, "That's my band." It was just a shocking thing.
Right.
And my friend John, who actually still keeps in touch with Sully, talks to him all the time. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I knew it was in there." He goes, "I just wanted to leave with an Easter egg to surprise you," and it surprised the crap out of me. But it's really cool.
I'm not into surprises, but when it's that kind of surprise, surprise me. That's
Right.
awesome. That is
That
so
is
cool.
awesome.
So it was really surprising because in '97, a band named Seven Dust came through here, and we got another friend. It's funny because Fayetteville is full of all these musicians who went on to go do different things.
Right.
And so Clint Lowry of Seven Dust, he's from Fayetteville as well, and so I go to see Clint, and I'm sitting there watching the band play, and then this band's opening, and my friend goes, "Hey, "Did you see Sully?" Because it was Godsmack who was opening for Seven Dust. He goes, "Did you see Sully?" And I'm trying to stand on my tiptoes, going, "I can't see him behind the drums because Sully just played drums back then." And he goes, I said, "I can't see him behind the drums." He goes, "That's him singing." And my jaw just dropped. I'm going, "What?" And I was like, "Wow," just blown away. And and then they just go on to become this huge band.
The Godsmack we know today.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's funny because my friend John said, he goes, "Bernie," he goes, "I was going to the shows," and he goes, this is when they first get started, and he goes, "We're sitting there, it was an amphitheater, and they start playing Voodoo." And he says,
such a good song.
he goes, "I turn around and I see all the lighters." Can we cuss on here?
Yeah.
So he said he turns around and he looks and he sees all lighters and he goes, "Bernie, I thought he's fucking made it. He goes, that was his defining moment that he knew that his buddy Sully had made it." So that's actually pretty cool.
I remember being a little kid singing along with my older brother to Voodoo and not knowing what I was singing, not understanding what that story was about. I mean, now that I know, I still love the song just as much, but it's like it dawned on me. It was, "I'm not the one who's so far away." I'm like, oh my God, that's the stuff he was singing about the whole time?
Right.
So it was funny because so they come through here. It's early 2000s. We go see Godsmack, me and my old band, and we were able to get backstage. And it's funny because my old singer, he could really belt out. He could still sing today. His name is Roy Cathy, and he could sing his ass off. And we go back in the back and we're talking, and Roy just looks like us. He goes, "When did you start singing?" And Sully looks at him and he says, "Well," he goes, "we thought it would be easier to find a drummer, so I just started fucking singing." and I looked over, and the look on Roy's face is like blown away because Roy go from down here to up there, and the look on his face was like, "Oh my God," it was just unbelievable, and we just didn't know that this was going to come out of Sully or not. But if you watch the story, the Amazon thing, you're like, man, he really worked, and he kept working, and it worked for him. And man, from a distance, I don't know him like that, but I'm very proud of him. Same thing we're talking about Clint Lowry from Seven Dust. Man, those guys, totally incredible. They got their new album coming out here pretty soon. I think it's the most anticipated Seven Dust album to date because I guess because of TikTok, which I finally started getting on TikTok.
Right. We're live on TikTok now.
We're live on TikTok right now.
And I really wasn't into TikTok. My wife was like, "You didn't get TikTok." I'm like, because I know myself. You get on Reels, just on Instagram, and you're there for hours. Next thing you know, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I always thought it's gonna happen if I get on TikTok.
Right.
So we're talking about TikTok. It was just one of those things that I heard that a lot of there's a lot of kids now getting into the whole new metal scene, and they're picking up songs like Rumblefish and Denial and Black, and now it's like Seven Dust's most anticipated albums coming out, and man, I think they're finally gonna. I mean, they've already here. I think they're finally gonna push it to more. So,
straight through the roof.
Yeah, straight through the roof. So pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just the way music is today. It's just it's hard to promote yourself in all the areas that you need to be promoted in.
And it's like,
and it's because there's so many ways to promote yourself. That's the catch-22 about it all. There are millions of ways to promote yourself as an independent artist. You don't have to wait to be seen by somebody in the industry. You can make your way, but the amount of work, effort, time, investment that you have to put in to put all of the stuff on each platform, make the videos, do your own editing, this, that, and the other, it makes it harder to get to that point, like you said, Bowtie.
For sure. It's different these days because, like I said, we grew up in the other era where you're passing out flyers, putting flyers on walls, and that's what you're doing. And you're hoping to get picked up, get seen by somebody because it's not about how talented you are. I keep telling all the guys in the band, they're younger, it's not about how good you are. It's about promotion or just being seen by the right person.
And that's what I was about to say. It's not a matter of how good you are. It's you need to find your demographic.
Exactly.
And sometimes we are born in an area or we move to an area that we start music and it just happens to not be the demographic that fits our genre, our style. and our goal efforts when it comes to music, and we just kind of have to branch out a little, and that's that time and investment too as independent artists that we have to make to search out those areas. Like I live in a small country town, but if I want to find that nice rock area, I got to come up here to Fayetteville. I got to go out to Sanford. I got to drive an hour to find the demographic that fits my style of music.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. For sure.
It doesn't mean that, and that, like you said, it has nothing to do with, is it good? It's, did you find your people?
Yep. It's weird.
It's all good.
And the thing about Fear State that really caught my attention too is just the way that y'all are outside of the box, like we talked about with the comic book earlier. You know, it's just a matter, you're not afraid to promote all of your stuff in one event, like we are talking about earlier. You know, it's like people need to work together on these kind of things, and you know, just because I have a karaoke business and you're a singer in a rock band doesn't mean we couldn't collaborate on things.
Oh yeah,
because
for sure.
I mean, there's ways that we can get, you know, each other's business out in front of the right people, because you know we're doing more open mic type karaoke's now. And that's the way a lot of these bands are being formed in this area, and that's how they're finding people to go in their bands. And you know, it's just, you know, I said the people that are willing to work together are going to do better, I feel like, in the long run. And the ones that are willing to think outside of the box, like I said, that's where y'all really are shining in my mind.
I appreciate that. I think it's because we come from different generations of music, so that kind of helps. Of course, you know, I came from the '80s, and then of course, my second revival of music was the early 2000s. So I went from like the big hair to like, you know, everybody is happy or talking about drugs, sex, and rock. Well, you go to the early 2000s, and it was about breakup, like Stain. Everything was about being broken up, which worked. Big divorced dad rock works perfectly.
That's my favorite genre of music is divorced dad rock.
And you know, it's
because I grew up as a '95 kid.
And it's funny because like the early 2000s, we were going, me and the singer were going through our divorces, separations. So that's what did we write about? And it was perfect for the time because Stain was coming out with Been a While and all that kind of stuff. And it worked. I remember our guitar playing goes, "This whole first album, it's about you two." So there's different generations of music,
right.
And I think that's helped. It's like I said, Fear State's come from a different world. We never intended to write any original music. It just happened. I like I said, I told you before, I had been retired or on hiatus. I never thought I'd play music again at all. I thought it's in my past. I'm done. And then COVID happened, and I ended up in the hospital in Moore County at the big hospital.
I'm
there.
so sorry.
Well, it's actually better than the hospital we have here.
Yeah,
So, and not saying anything bad.
I have heard, no, but they do have some good staff at the Pinehurst Hospital.
Yeah, so I mean, I was in there for 17 days.
I said some.
So
I've had some bad experiences myself there, but that I can't discredit all of the staff.
yeah, and so I think everybody has their differences when it comes to different hospitals. But I knew at the time I didn't want to go to the one here. So what ended up happening was I went there for 17 days. Didn't know what was going to happen. I was at one time being ventilator. They're saying ventilator in 48 to 72 hours. Which back then, you go on a ventilator, you're done. It was you're gone.
Exactly.
Right? So, and I was sitting there one day, and it was really, my mother-in-law was on her deathbed. I'm in the hospital. They're telling my wife, be prepared, because he may not make it.
Oh my gosh.
But they're telling me, you know, you're fine. I remember the doctor coming and going, you're gonna be fine. And I'm looking at her face, and her face wasn't saying that.
I would have been like, Doc, give it to me straight, bro.
I mean, so they did all this stuff.
What?
And one of my friends, I said, hey, do you have any healing scripture to read? You know, and he's like, Bernie, why don't you try this? Why don't you just talk to God? And so one morning, it was just a bad morning. So I've told this story many times. I was like talking to God, and talking turned to praying, turned to crying, and I was praying for everybody else around me, my daughter, because what happens if I'm gone? How's she gonna be raised?
Right.
My parents, because losing a child before you go is probably one of the most awful things. My sister, my family, all my friends, my wife especially. Now, she loses both, you know, within the time, And so it was really just one of those moments. And I felt this calmness come over me, this true calmness that I'll never forget, and another feeling I probably will never feel again. And I heard, "You're going to be okay." And about 2 hours later, you know how when you're sick, you don't want to eat anything. You're just 2 hours later, I was starving. I couldn't get enough. So I'm calling, "Hey, I need food." So I get the food. Next day, in the hospital, they say, "Hey, you're going to be coming out of isolation today." So which meant, all the hazmat suits come off. You're going to go to another room. Because back then, the hazmat, you come in there,
Right.
they're serving you, look like you're
That's
being.
a statement of hope
Yeah.
right there.
And so then it was like, okay. My wife came in to visit me. She totally surprised me. She stayed the night. The next day, they go, "Hey, we're going to have you walk around. We wanted to see about, check on you." And you're walking around. So I'm walking around. The doctor says, "Let me hear you." He goes, "Your lungs are healing at a fast rate." And it's like a day. And then he goes, "Do you want to go home tomorrow or today?" Today.
Right.
So that happened. And next thing you know, I'm on my way home. So I'm a firm believer in the man upstairs for sure. And then it was weird because I had contacted one friend while I was in the hospital and said, "Hey, contact Roy for me," because me and my old singer, I left the band. It was a big breakup, and I'm just one of those guys. I can't leave anything closed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I said to him, have him call me or contact me. I just want to get everything straight in case anything happens. And then we talked and everything was cool. And then he started calling me like when I got out and said, "Hey, are you okay?" I said, "I am." And then we just started talking about music, and he talked about his son, Dylan, who I saw when he was growing up. And that's the biggest thing when you have a breakup like that, you miss all the family people that you had before.
Right.
And he says, "Well, yeah, Dylan's trying to put his band together," and I said, "Well, Ryder plays drums." He goes, "What?" He goes, "Ryder plays drums, and he's spinning six, and he's freaking phenomenal." All right, I'm gonna tell Dylan. Next thing you know, Dylan wants to meet him. So then they get out and they get together. The next day they start looking for people, and they form Crooked Cult. And they're one of, I would say, Fayetteville's premier heavy. They're metal. They're really good. And love those guys. All of them good group of kids. I can't even say kids are all adults now.
Right.
But I could say that because they're all like kids to me. So they're doing their thing. Love them to death. And out of that, we were all hanging out one day at a comic convention. Me and Smitty, who was the first singer, Ryder and Ian, and Smitty starts singing Beth. The song Beth by Kiss. But he started.
We are definitely familiar with that song. At karaoke.
Everybody's karaoke?
Yeah. Oh,
That
we got a few that dedicate it to our other DJ's mom.
Yes, Beth.
So,
Yep.
yes, you're right. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even
I'm
think
pretty
about
positive Beth is here with us. Hello, Beth.
Yeah, I'm sure she's watching.
Yeah.
She's
So-
been anticipating this episode.
it. So what ended up happening is he starts singing about COVID and me. Just parroting the whole song about COVID and me being in the hospital. And it was funny. At the time we could laugh at it. And he was pretty decent. And the hardest thing to find in any band for me, it's always been singers, at least decent ones, right? So we ended up. I went to my daughter. I said, "Well, what do you think about me and we call him Tito Chris, like Uncle Tito Chris, about starting a band?" She goes, "That would be great." So I go, "Hey, Chris, you want to start a band?" He's like, "Man, I've always wanted to be a band." So we get him, and then I try to go through my who can I call, and I'm like, I kind of want to start this whole thing new with people that have never played in the music scene,
Right.
And so I call on my customers who was a captain in the military, and he told me that he used to play music before he got in the military. So I call him. I say, "Hey, Tyler, hey, I need to talk to you." So he kept, and he's like, he's in trouble. He's like, What do you need?"
What do I do?
And I go, "Well, me and Chris were talking about starting a band," and before I could even say, he goes, "I'm in." I'm in.
Right.
I'm in. And so that's how it happened. Then of course Ryder was going to be drafted. I told Ryder, "You're coming with me."
Mm-hmm.
And then Ian ended up being an accident. So Ian at the time was playing bass guitar. I mean, accident as in
He
being
was
in
an
the band.
accident.
He was an accident being in the band. So
Maybe not to his parents.
yes.
That's just how my brain heard it.
You're right. I let
Maybe
that
it's
one
because I'm a '90s kid that's why my brain heard it that way.
So Ian was playing bass, and we were like, I said, we can come in and do some like a backup bass player for me. Just do it for a couple songs, and then he played with us, and then we played our first show at the White Rabbit, and he's all like, he pulled out a guitar for one song that we all played together, and then after that show he goes, look, I'm gonna go to guitar, I want to play with you guys, because he really wanted to play, because you like that feeling of playing live. There's nothing like
he
playing
got a
live.
taste.
Yes, because there's nothing like playing live, right?
There's nothing like the difference from singing a karaoke song behind a screen versus leading a band is it's just a whole different feeling. It's a whole
that's
different
a whole nother
energy,
step.
atmosphere. The room shifts, the crowd changes. It's so different.
And for every you trying to be a rock star out there, when you play live, you'll never forget it, and it'll stay in your blood, in your genes until you die.
100%. And I still haven't even had the chance to get on a big stage with a full rock band. I've done live band karaoke, and I've got up with one other person before at one of their just smaller, just them playing guitar and singing shows. Well, actually, a few people with that, but that feeling I got doing live band karaoke, man, unmatched, absolutely unmatched. And when Franklin Branch pulled me up, just as he does with people in the crowd, it's just the feeling. You are a rock star in that moment, man. Like truly, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like so live is just.
You must be living on a high when you get up there.
Oh yeah, I am a little bit, just a little. So with Ian, Ian moves over to the guitar and he just starts practicing, and I will tell you, this kid, my grandson Ian, I am so proud of him because that kid can shred. He can play drums now. He's just killing it. And it hasn't really been announced, but he's actually going to college. He's leaving for college in August. So he's gonna take his talent to college, and it's music. Mm-hmm. So that's it. He's doing, I think he's doing some psychology, but he's also going to major somewhere in music because they have a great music program there. And
hey, the two of those things tie together beautifully.
Right.
There's music and psychology and therapy. Right. Music heals, man.
Yeah,
and
it does.
If he can make those two work together in the professional world and the music world, by all means, I support that. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, he's awesome. Love what he's done with him. It's taken this influence, and I say this. So everybody thinks a rock star is the guy who's making millions of dollars. That's what but as I've grown older, I've learned that the rock star is the guy who influenced another person to play an instrument, to pick up a guitar, or to sing, or do whatever. Because rock stars, there's 10 million musicians out there. They're not all going to become rock stars, the $1 million rock stars. But I think anybody who influences somebody else, the next generation, is a thing.
They're rich.
Yes.
Absolutely. I firmly believe that what we get out of what we do by doing what we enjoy makes us more rich than money could ever make us. I am so wealthy because I get to do what I love every single day and work hard to make sure that that's what I focus on. Right. Yes, I have to find other ways to make some income to keep the bills paid sometimes, because karaoke and weddings and stuff don't always pay every bill.
Right.
But we do what we need to do to keep doing what we love.
Yes, for sure.
And with that, I am rich. Doesn't matter how much money. I have $0 in my checking account right now, and I'm okay with that. Yes. My bills are paid, and I'm doing what I love.
Absolutely, and that's where that's what it came from. So I know that he's going to go on and do his thing. I know my nephew Ryder's been watching me since he was 2 years old, and he's going to do his thing. And I'm just, and there's all these people who came across. They go, hey, I started playing guitar because of you, because I saw you play, because I saw you smash a guitar. I've gotten crap for that one.
Right.
You smashed, and I hear it all the time. I'll see the post. Oh, I can't believe you did that. Blah, blah. You could have given it to so and so. And I could give a guitar to somebody, but if they have no desire to play, it's just going to be put on the wall or something. But I know, from me and my perspective, when I saw Paul Stanley smash a guitar, right. I was like, or Nikki Sixx on the video, I said, I want to do what they do.
What that did for your soul did more than money could ever buy you.
Exactly. So
they can hang the pieces on the wall. It doesn't
exactly.
Gotta be
so it's one of those things. So, but I'm proud of what I've done as far as being able to influence these kids, the next generation, what I call rock stars, to do what they're going to do. And it's funny because this all comes full circle as I talk about Fear State and how it was formed. Later,
Speaking of Fear State, here's their album right
Yes, this is the current album right here.
Triumph Over Tragedy. And we got that title because my father passed away last year.
here. Condolences.
Thank you. On March 24th. And it was unexpected. And
Makes it rough.
you know, it was weird. We had a show that very next week, and my manager goes, "I'm gonna cancel shit," and I go, "Don't."
Tribute show.
I said, "Don't." And then it was like, I thought about Brett Favre in that Monday Night Football game where he throws like 5 TDs. His dad had passed away, and I said, "Man, that'd be awesome." But then all the condolences started coming in text messages,
Right.
and stuff like that. And I thought, I think I could handle it. But my nephew's in the band. That's his grandfather. I don't know if he can handle it. But then I thought, when I do the show, it's not going to be about the music. It'll be between the sets. People come, "Hey, I'm so sorry," and not saying that I'm not. I thank everybody for doing it, but that's what I thought would happen. So we pushed it away, and we went on. So but yeah. So as my father, that's what Triumph Over Tragedy is from. And then getting back to the band. The guys in the band, Josh, when he came in the band, it was weird because Josh was, I've known Josh since he was like 9 years old. So we call full circle. So BB was our sound man, and his son helped, and I've known BB since I was a 16-year-old kid. So Josh came in to help with his brother Joe, and they ran sound for the Fifth. And it all came full circle when we need a singer, and one of our mutual friends says, "Hey, have you heard Josh's stuff?" And I go, "No." She sends me 2 songs, and one was that song we do, "Life Without You," that he wrote. And I was like, I need his number yesterday. And then I decided, let me reach out to him myself. I played the face and started talking, and I said, "Hey, man." He's, "Oh, yeah, I need to come see you guys play." And he goes, I said, "Well, I'm looking for a singer. We're looking for a singer." He's like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." So he came out, auditioned. And when he came to audition, he sang all the Divorce dad rock that we wanted, because we weren't doing that kind of stuff because poor Smitty couldn't do any of that. And so that's how he ended up in the band. And then when Tyler left, he knew Jamil, who was his childhood friend. So when you hear us say we're not just a band, we're a family, that's what we are.
Hey, real quick, we actually have some interaction happening on TikTok
Cool.
here. I'm not sure if they're still viewing, but we have somebody asking if you have a rare comic that they've been searching for in your shop. What do we got?
Yes, he's
rare
got it.
comic.
Come on
Chet
up here.
Stain #2. Do you have
What's it called?
Chet Stain.
Checked Stain?
ChetStane #2.
I don't know. I can't really. The title. Now I feel bad, like I'm a bad store owner, but I don't.
I'm wondering if.
How about you?
We've got somebody in the background researching us.
Yeah, I think we
So,
have our,
if
our
our
production
technician-
man helping us out here.
If anything, you could always hit up the store on our Facebook page or something like that, and I could definitely check or at least find out some information about if we can get it. So
Dragon's Lair,
Where can we
Yadkin
buy
Road
these?
in Fayetteville, North
Yeah.
Carolina.
on Facebook, Dragons or Fayetteville is what it's under. So
And where can we buy the CDs now?
the CDs you can pick up here at the store or when we do shows, and FearStateShop.com as well.
FearStateShop.com.
Yeah.
FearStateShop.com.
So everybody out there, hit that up. You gotta get the CD. I mean, come on.
I mean, hey, if you come down to the shop, you get to meet B-Man from Fear State.
I mean, somewhere in my mind, I feel like whenever I use your music on the background of some of my Facebook stuff, that they're supposed to be sending you some pennies that way.
Yeah, we
Hopefully
do get-
that's working.
Yeah,
Hopefully that's
we
working
did.
right.
I think I remember last month we got 87 cents.
There you go. So yes,
Hey.
yes, we're
Hey, we may not be rich, but we're rich.
right. Exactly.
And that's a different thing too. That's why when you go to these shows, you buy merchandise because we don't get paid anything for money
Right.
for in streams these days, like 0.000001, like a quarter of a penny, like that small.
And it doesn't matter how many views. You can have tens of thousands of views and still only make $1.
Exactly. It's crazy. I mean, I know.
There's no rhyme or reason to how you make the money on the content these days at this point.
We'll go back. We'll go back and say it that Lars Ulrich was right. He was right. The whole Napster thing, he was right. He was. I mean, you got to go back and admit it because now we get paid less than 1 cent on a stream, which is crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and it's like it's like we always say, newsflash, we're not getting rich here.
Newsflash.
Because everybody thinks, they're thinking, look at Boston and Bowtie. They're going 7 nights a week
See, that's
to survive. Yeah.
here's our catch-22. Half the people don't realize that we do more than karaoke, and the other half think we're rich.
Yeah.
Neither of the two are true.
Right. And when we do these senior centers, that's not for making money. That's kind of giving back.
Yeah,
That's, we
Say that's
we
in
have a
hopes that
passion
one
about
day-
things. Yes.
That maybe when I'm a senior and I need to be attending the senior centers for my daily entertainment, that somebody will do what we do and come in and spend time with us. I can only
Yeah.
hope that one day somebody
When I
does what
started-
I do for
yes,
me.
for sure.
Yeah,
for
when
sure.
I started going, I wasn't old enough to be a member, but unfortunately, now it's starting to move right in there. Like, whoa, wait a minute.
I know they're teaching me how to take care of you now.
Right, exactly.
a couple years ago when my birthday came up, my uncle goes, "You realize you can get a senior citizen discount some places now, right?"
Right.
And I go, "I didn't think about that. Good Lord."
Right. Oh, wake up call there, isn't it?
Yes, it was a big wake-up call. I think the wake-up call has been that the B-Man can do all these things on stage, and it used to be the next day I'd be fine, or Bernie would be fine. But now it takes Bernie like 2 or 3 days to
Right.
recover from getting on that stage or getting on that bar or getting down or whatever he does.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have the comic book shop to fall back on, because you can't do that performance you do on stage night after night.
Got to have this comfy couch to come
That's
back
right.
and take a nap after a big gig.
The thing is, we don't take naps on this couch during the daytime, and the reason why is because someone's gonna take a picture of you, and it gets posted. I got a good friend, and he works with me named Eric. He started he'd fall asleep on the chair over there. He's falling asleep anyway, and we've taken pictures, and he's like, he just shakes his head.
That's something Bowtie would do to me.
Right.
He got me one time, and it was because we went to go see Spider-Man, the last Spider-Man, like at midnight. My friend had a showing, so we go there, and of course it was a long movie. So we get home at like 3 in the morning. I take my daughter to school at like 6, and so I'm in here and I'm just dead tired, and the reason why we went was because my friend Eric was supposed to go. Well, he fell asleep, so he never showed up. So then he comes and he takes a picture of me, and I go, "It's your fault.
Right.
I'm tired." So.
Sorry,
That's
reading
why
some
we
of-
drink lots of coffee.
Correct. Reading some of the comments from earlier here. We got Christian Webb tuning in. What's up, Big C? Beth said she was cleaning the house, so she'll watch the whole thing later. But the first thing she heard when she tuned in was us all talking about the strip club.
Right. No wonder she went back to
She
cleaning
heard
the house.
Duncan and Duncan's mom and strip club is the first.
Well,
Oh,
that
and-
had to come up.
And shout out Brandon Burns. What's up, Brandon?
And Secrets Cabaret, which was the strip club.
Right. That's right. I got to
Yeah,
throw the
shout out
name
to
out.
Secrets.
Secrets Cabaret.
But there might be a future podcast coming from there. I mean, there's more members of Fierce State Band that we haven't talked to, so who knows? We might can work that out.
Definitely for
We
sure.
might talk to some of them.
That could actually. I'll call Jesse tomorrow. You just let me know, and we'll get Jesse on there. And we'll get on. Let's do it on the couches out there, not in the couches, but
Right.
outside of the couches.
Right. We'll set something up there. We'll find out more
Should I
in
bring
depth
the
about the rest. Yeah, we thought about trying to cover a lot of the band today, but I was just like, there's no way B-Man hadn't got enough content for this whole show by himself. If we try to work all the members in, we'll never have enough time to get everybody any kind of to say what they got to say. As far as even them young ones have probably experienced some wild nightlife stories already.
They probably don't want to share it yet.
Oh, they're
yet. You know how they goes. They're young.
they don't want to let people in on the behind the scene crazy stuff that they've witnessed already.
I would love to hear his experience as you said he's a young drummer and singer.
A guitar player.
Guitar player, I'm so sorry. Guitar player and singer, yeah. I'd definitely love to
Yeah,
do
that would be kind of cool.
an interview for him as well.
So we were playing at Patty's, and there's our guy Wesley was doing a little thing out there that one night, and so they asked me a question. They said, who's the hottest woman you see out here? And of course, I'm no fool. My wife is in the audience, so I go, my wife Cindy. So I said, she's the hottest one in here. So they bring them over there to talk to them. They said, hey, we gotta ask you something. Bernie says the hottest woman in there is his wife Cindy. What do you guys think? And so Ian looks at him. He goes, "Well, that's my Nana, and I love her."
God. Poor kid got scarred by one
really?
question.
and Ryder goes, "Yeah, that's my aunt."
So it's, we don't want to talk
And
trash
this woman
about
probably
her.
learned to not ask weirdly invasive questions again.
We don't.
so it made Westy feel like.
We don't look at her like
okay.
that. That's not.
So
What kind of question is that?
But
though?
it-
Were you fishing for a "it's you, honey"? No.
But it's funny because they some of the experience they have, they could tell you. I know one girl was trying to grind up against Ian, and then she looked down and saw the X on his hand, and she backed off.
Oh no.
Of course, they've always had people always trying to buy them drinks, and they can't drink.
Right.
And that's always been a thing. That's what's people are like, how did you get a 14 and 15-year-old into a club? Well, because of my previous experience, I knew a bunch of people in town.
Right.
They all knew me, and I said, look, they just want to play. They just want to play. They don't care about any other stuff because that's really what they want to do.
I was
That's
gonna
what
say,
I'm
that
encouraged.
speaks on their character
Yes.
as teenagers as well. If these venue owners, even on your word, can trust that they're not going to try to sneak drinks,
Yes. Yeah.
that's great on them, and it speaks
Right.
volumes on their
And
character.
and people are like, oh, when he goes, let me play the drums, I'll buy you a drink. And my nephew Ryder's like, oh, I can't drink, and plus you're not getting on my
And I'm
drums.
saying, no, and you're not touching my stuff.
Exactly.
Like, that's not a bargain.
Step brothers, did you touch my drum set? Did you touch my drum set? So
I got the whole scene in my head
yes,
right now.
yes,
I'm not even
great scene.
rabbit holes. Fueled
Yeah.
ADHD.
Hey, but at least we're in the right area here. We're still
Yeah,
we're
right.
still under entertainment.
We're-
We haven't
we're-
rabbit
we're-
holed.
We're still in music. It's somewhere in there, music and
Hey.
drum sets and stuff like that.
It may be 10 different topics on the same topic,
Right.
but we're staying on the same
Yeah, we
topic.
try to. But you'd be amazed how many times that I'm able to tie pro wrestling into this conversation. So you're not the first person I got to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, wrestling comics and
It took a little
music.
convincing to get me fully on board with let's keep tying wrestling. And we're like, yeah, it's entertainment. We can do that.
Right.
sports and entertainment.
Say,
Exactly.
bow tie's big thing is wrestling. How can we not tie that in?
Right. So
So did you watch WrestleMania last night? Or
I did not, but this whole moving to ESPN thing has just really messed me up because I don't watch any other sports. So
They don't have their own program anymore?
they're
no, they went from WWE to like Peacock, right, for a while.
yeah they went Peacock and
They're on Netflix now.
they went to Netflix, but now they're on ESPN. So
Yes.
so that's the
Their big ones are on ESPN. Right?
yeah. So that's the
Random wrestling topic, but I saw something the other day, and it just popped in my head, and it's about how WWF used to be.
Mhm.
Wasn't it that the World Wildlife Federation took over the copyright to the name?
they
I
had
think
it
they had it
first.
before. They had it
yeah.
They had it first. Okay, because
Yeah.
I don't know why that just popped in my head, but I figured you guys would.
Yeah, they
would
didn't.
know that.
Yeah, they didn't take it over. It's just that the World Wrestling Federation was
Okay.
using it and making a big deal about it. And they're like, "Hey, wait a minute, we've been on this copyright."
Oh, okay, so I misunderstood.
Yeah.
They wanted it back.
Yeah, they're like,
They-
"Y'all
they-
can't take this from us."
And they probably going, well, if you pay us this, we might do it. And they're like, no, we'll just
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
just change the letter from an F to just put the little thing on the E beginning.
Yeah, they started
Yeah, we'll
it out
just make
making
the
it
World
real.
Wrestling Entertainment.
Yeah,
It's
just
Yeah,
put the-
fine.
they just
Isn't
put
that
one
what it is?
line
One
on
line
all their
there, one
stuff
line.
and change it to
One
an
line could save them millions of dollars.
E. Right.
Call me ignorant, but isn't that what WWE stands for?
What's that?
Worldwide
Wrestling-
Wrestling Entertainment?
Yes.
Right. So.
Yep.
So, like I said, it's definitely entertainment. At that kind of point, Vince McMahon pretty much just pulled back the curtain and tried to get around all the athletic commissions as well, because the athletic commissions were taking a cut when they go everywhere. And he said, "No, this is entertainment. This is not an athletic event. We're not really competing. This is entertainment." So now they're not paying the athletic commissions, and so that was yet another way to put money in their pocket, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and it's funny when you say something like people trying to save money. So a long time, we're going to go back into comics. So comics had a thing called the Comics Code. If you go back and look at all the comics in the late 80s, early to the 90s, they had that little code on it. It says the Comics Code or whatever. And finally, my friend Joe Quesada, who was just an artist when I met him, became the Marvel editor-in-chief. He was the guy. He became the guy.
Oh, wow.
He was like, you know what, why are we letting this company with this code, which the code had never been updated for a very long time, never been
Right.
updated. So, I mean, they're like, why are we paying them all this money? So they did their own breakdown of what what we're gonna make
Yeah.
rated and stuff like that. And so he saved the company millions
Oh, wow.
because each comic is like paying 30 cents to this comics code that hadn't been updated since like 1960 something. So it's funny when you talk about this stuff like that.
Yeah, and just we found out on scan codes, like, we had one for our Facebook, and there's one on my business card for the Karaoke World Championship, and all of a sudden we're like, the codes aren't working. All of a sudden, we go and like the company wants like $500 to keep the one going on my business card, and it's like. So now they're sending me a new scan code for the Karaoke World Championship.
Oh,
so,
good. We are getting that one.
Yeah, we're
fixed?
getting a new-
Awesome.
That one's not going to be fixed. I got to get all new cards because we're going to go with the free one
Oh, yeah,
versus
heck yeah.
versus the $500 one.
Yeah, I was looking into the QR code services. You can
Yeah.
download so many and make so many as you want, but it's like the yearly fee of this, between $200 and $500, depending on if you want the annual fee, if you want the monthly fee, or biannual fee.
Yeah, it all started
Wow.
out. It all
Gosh.
started out like free, and
The
then all of a
cheapest was
sudden
$250, but you had to pay all at once, one time, and that dropped it to $20 a month. Otherwise, it was $49.95 a month if you wanted to pay monthly.
That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy. It's funny, QR codes, because I remember with the format we went to Japan and we had these posters, and this was like in 2008 when QR code, what's that? We didn't know what
Yeah.
it was. So we go to Japan and there's these codes on this poster and we're like, what is this thing? We didn't
Yeah.
know. And so my cousin who lives in Japan says, so what is this? He goes, you know what that is? He goes, no. He goes, check this out. And of course their technology in Japan is like 20 years in front of us.
They're ahead of
So
the game.
he pulls his camera, his phone, and goes like this, and it takes it. We're like, oh my god!
Right.
we found this out in Japan.
It's the future.
It's the future. You're like, really? And then it was really weird because we were in Japan, and he's got this camera on his phone. Because this was when we didn't even have ringtones. We had when we went there. The ringtones we had were the digital ones. You remember? We
Yeah.
were happy that they played songs. You're playing this
Right.
third, but it's like these digital chimes, Yeah. And so we're going there. They already have the good stuff.
You got the
Right.
music downloads
Yes,
already.
it
Like,
was
come on.
crazy. So he showed me his phone and he takes a video, and his phone was like he said, man, I've had this phone since 2004, and the video comes out and it's beautiful. We're like, what in the world? So then we go to a mall because we're looking for some batteries, and we go up there. You go in the mall here, we get the little push button and you see where Macy's is here, the little light up.
Yeah.
We go in there and my friend starts doing it, and all of a sudden it's like Iron Man. We're like, what in the world? But it's like, wow, they're like 4 years in front of us, 40 years in front of us, I should say. So it's pretty crazy.
I'm always seeing memes and videos that's like, yep, Japan is in the year like 2055 already. Well, we're still living in 2026.
And where did we get karaoke from? From,
Right?
from Japan, right?
Thank you, Japan. I
Right.
appreciate you deeply.
Exactly.
I
It's just
think
crazy.
you guys probably have a lot better singers than in Japan, though.
Hey, and
Is Japan a part of the KWC internationals? I'm not that I don't know.
I'm not sure. That hopefully we'll find out more about this year when hopefully I get to go to the world competition. What we're hoping, because we were supposed to go to Bangkok this past year, but the Queen Mother died like right before we were supposed to go. So they
Like, literally
they
right
shut the
before.
nation down for any kind of entertainment.
For the whole
They s-
year.
They banned it. They banned it for the month that the competition was going.
Oh,
There
gosh.
was like no no entertainment, and then they kind of ease back on some of it as
I
the year
saw
goes
word
along.
that they were going to try to go like as much as they could for up to a year for was it not observation?
They want everybody in wearing black and mourning,
Yeah,
and yeah,
yeah.
it was
They
really
wanted an extended
intense.
mourning period.
Wow.
But yeah, so that it's really wild as far as just that somebody in like our little town of Hamlet near where I live can sing a song and then go literally to a world stage like that
That's crazy.
just from coming out to a karaoke night.
And,
Huh.
and it's not as broadcast. Karaoke World Championship is not as broadcast as it could be.
Oh yeah,
As it
there's
should
a lot of
be.
people don't realize that there is a karaoke world championship that's been going on for 24 years. So I
Really?
mean, it's
Yeah,
like,
over
I didn't even
20
know.
I
That's
know,
what I'm
right? That's
saying.
what I'm saying.
It's
Hey,
But-
my Filipino people can sing.
you ain't wrong.
Look at Arnell. Arnell they found him on YouTube. Hey, why don't you come sing for Journey?
And I found out too when I went to Hugger Mugger and they had some people from Japan in, like a company type, they had come in, I guess, for some local company there from Japan,
Uh-huh.
and they come to the karaoke and like they wanted this song. They said it's in Japanese or whatever, and I'm like, I don't even know how to type that in. They type it in my thing, and like their song is literally playing on our thing in all Japanese words up there. I could not even read that stuff. It's just like all these squiggly lines on the screen. They're just singing away.
I mean, I'm amazed
I mean,
and,
it was
and
wild.
impressed that Carafun even had that option here for them.
Oh yeah, it that's probably why it bogs our thing down sometimes, because it has all these languages in there too.
That's
So
actually kinda
people
cool.
can come to our karaoke and sing in all these different languages, because we've seen Spanish quite a bit, but yeah, that was the first time I'd seen somebody actually come and singing Japanese on there, and it was just like, and I was just amazed. But part of it had a few English words here and there, but for the most part it was just all, I couldn't even read it, just
I wish I
squiggly.
was there for that one.
Yeah, that was
That
wild.
sounds fun.
I don't even know how to pull it up to show you, because I don't know what the name of the song was.
They walked up and they just did it.
Right.
You don't know what you're doing.
Right.
Say if they come back, or anybody that can type in.
I feel like there might
Japanese
be a
music,
Mr.
I'm gonna
Roboto
need
version
them.
of that.
I'm gonna need them to teach me how to
That'd be
type it in English so I
Japanese.
can find it in the future.
So it's funny because in Japan they love American music. So
Right.
When we went to go play Japan, we played with a couple bands, and it was weird because you would close your eyes and you go, "Oh, that's Japanese Green Day." It was weird. This young band, and they sound like Green Day. You close your, and there was this one band. I remember they sounded like they were a fusion. They were like Guns N' Roses and that 80s thing. The guitar player, he had his headband on. He's
Right.
And then it was a female singer. So they start playing "My Michelle" by Guns N' Roses, and she sings the whole verses in Japanese. And then they get to the chorus and they start singing in American, and it was unbelievable.
Oh,
it was
that's
freaking
awesome.
phenomenal. And then another band, they sound like Japanese corn. You close your eyes
Japanese corn.
and you close Japanese corn with a female singer who looks like
Yo.
tiny. She's tiny like this, and all of a sudden she starts and it was like, oh my god, it was crazy.
Do they have social media? That sounds awesome. I want to
It's
see
pretty-
this.
And then, and I guess the last band, we go there and we play at this place in Roppongi, and I remember the guys come up and this real big dude. He's a bass player. He's real huge, and they had the singer, and it was talk about just small world. The singer was from Fayetteville, North Carolina, went to school here in town, and he goes there, and it was just weird. He was singing. He was American. He was singing, but they were Japanese. Rage Against the Machine. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was like,
Great.
wow. And then it was funny because you got this big guy, and then I guess he goes, well, we would play the show with you tomorrow, but we can't because they're having a big wrestling match.
Right, exactly. That's what I was going to tell you. Wrestling's
And-
huge in
and
Japan
guess
too.
who's there? Guess who's there?
Hulk Hogan?
No, Matt and Jeff Hardy.
Oh, Matt and
Oh my
Jeff Hardy.
gosh.
Wow.
So he goes, oh, I got it. It's oh, we know Jeff. He goes, and the guy looked at me and goes, you know Jeff Hardy?
Right.
Yeah, Jeff. And he goes, can you get my CD?
Right.
It was pretty cool. So we're going back from karaoke to Japan. It's all music. It's all entertainment, right?
Right.
See, it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Karaoke and wrestling.
Came back to
meant to
wrestling.
be.
Exactly.
They're connected.
They're all connected in some way.
And if they aren't directly, we will find a way to connect them.
So when it comes to karaoke, what is like the top 3 songs that people pick?
It's, I don't know what it's kind
Or
of.
say, give me,
When we
give me
first
something.
got into it, it was like Tennessee whiskey.
Oh
I
yeah.
love this bar. Is in the past year has been one of my most requested ones, depending on where I'm at. But I see that one most frequently.
Okay.
I remember when we first got into it, like we would hear Picture, every night somewhere different.
3 people would request us, like 3 groups would request to sing it, and
We wanna
I'd be
sing
like, I'm
Picture.
so
We wanna
sorry,
sing
somebody
Picture.
else already signed up. Yeah, me and Bowtie sing Picture, but we haven't in quite some time now. We need to.
Luckily,
get back
that
on
lady, that Lady Gaga movie came out, so that Shallow started picking up some of the slack for the duets that couldn't sing Picture. Now they can do Shallow if the female could sing it. It's not every female can sing Shallow.
And then since Shallow, it was Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga's song. I just got lost in a dream. I don't know if that's the words, but that one
Yeah.
one for like 6 months straight. That one was the most requested duet. Pink Pony Club, still one of the most requested songs.
And a lot of little kids like to sing that song, kind of like what you were talking about earlier, how you didn't know what the song was about.
They have no clue what they're singing, and it's like
They're just
sometimes I
having
look at
fun.
the parents and I'm like, "Do you realize?" And then I remember I'm like, "The kids don't realize, so why are we thinking so hard
Yeah,
about
we're
it?" They have no clue
overthinking
what
it.
they're singing. They're not
We're
going to know for 20
overthinking
years.
it, yeah.
That kid's going to be 30 years old singing that song one day, and it's going to hit her what it's about. And that's okay. She finds out when she finds out. I know now, and she's not going to know.
So it
Sing
goes-
your heart out, baby.
It kind of goes back to like my grandson Ian and Ryder. They would, when they're younger, they're singing "Girls, Girls, Girls."
Right.
And I remember, like in Wild Side, so it would get them to the end. There's that line, "Kicking ass on the wild side." So Ryder would get that part, and he would go, "Kicking butt on the in front of his parents, kicking butt on the wild side."
Right.
It's funny, but as they grow up, they're going, "Oh, we know what "Girls, Girls, Girls" is now." So, what's your go-to? What's your go-to? So, hey, do a karaoke song. What's the go-to song? I knew you got one.
If I Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys. I have been working on that song since 2015. When I tried out for The Voice for the first time, I had 0 confidence, no stage presence. Like, I tried out in the John Javits Center in New York, and I froze during my 90 seconds. Like, I tightened up. I sang, but I was tight, and I've made it my goal ever since then to just, like, I mean, there's no such thing as perfecting something,
Yeah.
especially when it's not your own, but to perfect my version of how I sing that song. I love that song so much. I've always wanted to just blow it out of the water because of how I froze in that moment. And now I memorize every word to it. I could be listening to a whole conversation while I sing that song without thought. It's the only song I use to open up most of our shows.
Cool.
She's usually adjusting all the equipment while she's singing it, so she's going here and back and forth, walking around the room and everything as she's singing it, and it intimidates some of our singers sometimes.
I'll tell you what, though, a
Her
girl
voice
sang
is
it
so
for
good.
a girl sang that for our competition the other night. She blew me out of the water. The way she hit them big notes. I can't belt like that on a good day.
There's some.
So you tried out for The Voice?
No, that was in
But
2015.
you
She
tried-
has.
I have. I've tried out a few times, especially since the pandemic.
Yeah.
They've done all of the online auditions instead of
Okay.
having to stand in line and wait at
Yes.
big convention centers like the John Javits, which that was an experience, but I am grateful that I did not have to do that the next 3 times I auditioned because I've done The Voice and American Idol.
Okay, that's cool.
Aged out of American Idol, if anybody is wondering why I'm not doing that. I've been asked numerous times. I've aged out, unfortunately. The cutoff is 28. And The Voice, I may be auditioning again. I might, with a different expectation as before.
She did the karaoke world championship last year. It made it kind of hard because I had to do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, and my wife helps too. But we rely on Boston a lot for sound and things like this too. So it's like you know, but her trying out was a good experience last year because now she can tell the people that are trying out from here in the Carolinas, you know, this is what to expect when you get there. And I mean, if you hear, you know, you haven't been around our shows, or whatever. Boston has an exceptional singing voice.
I just heard
Her
it.
her
It's
stage,
fantastic.
yeah,
It's like amazing.
her stage presence is where she has been working. That's where the part that's kind of held her back.
I'm a singer, not a performer.
And you know,
There's a difference.
whereas
There is difference.
There's a
whereas
very
if
big
you
difference.
see B-Man on stage, you know, he is a performer.
B-Man's a rock star.
He
So-
All right.
he, he don't play.
I got asked this yesterday. One of my friends, she asked, she sent me, she goes, I'm kind of nervous. She hadn't played in a long time. She goes, do you ever get nervous? And I'll be honest, I don't remember the last time I got nervous. But everything you see on stage, and people are like, well, how did you? Everything you see on stage now, I basically did on my very first show when I was a 15-year-old kid. I remember I was playing with this band, and I joined the band, and they're like, look, you know, it's going to be your first show. If you're nervous, you know, it's cool. We understand. We start playing, the music hits. And this is where I say the B-Man came out. He just came out. I'm on the floor. I'm banging my head. I'm on my back.
Right.
And after the show, my friend Bevan and them go,
Where'd he come
where'd
from?
that come from?
Like, who are you?
and I don't know. I don't know. It's just something that when it hits,
It's the atmosphere, man.
I think I always say it's my if I'm a good bass player. I stay with the beat and I'm there. I'm solid. But I think my God-given talent, I truly believe, is just the entertainment He's given me to be
Right.
entertain people. Because I've always felt at our shows or any show I played, if I can take the crowd away from the problems, even for an hour, 2 hours,
Right.
I've done my job. I've done my job, and I believe that's what God put me on this world to do, to be able to do that. Because it does take time. Some people, Ian, same thing. He finally came out. Ryder's a natural. You see him behind the drums. It's like
Right.
I don't get to watch him play the drums, but if you watch this kid play, I'm like, oh my God. Sometimes when I go see his band, I just watch, and I'm like, he's spinning sticks here, there, throwing the stick up, and it's crazy. And sometimes it's natural people, and sometimes it takes things there. And the front man, or front woman, I would say is one of the hardest things because I look at you, the front man, as the quarterback of the band. You know, you just gotta grab. Your job is to grab them, pull them forward. So.
And they're the one tying every piece of that band together because
Sure.
the eyes are going to each place, but that singer is interacting with
Yes.
each bandmate to
For
make
sure.
sure they get their attention from the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
highlight each bandmate, and then they're bringing it back to the crowd. They're having to not just engage with their bandmates, which is the most comfortable part about the whole thing,
Yep.
Right.
but you're engaging with strangers. You're trying to bring the energy to a room, and that's the hardest part for
Yeah,
me. 'Cause
it's
when
tough.
you walk in nervous, it's like, how do I set the energy for the room?
Yep.
If I'm nervous, I'd say that's the hardest part for me. But again, like I said, that feeling you get when you get on stage as the front man to a band, it brings something out of you.
Yes, it does.
It brings something out that you didn't believe existed.
It's funny because you've seen Josh, you know, for Fierce Day. He's the most calm person in person, and when you're not being when he's off stage, he's just so nice.
Mm-hmm.
I joke because you know we're on stage. There's one guy who's B-Man's doing all the cussing. Josh is over here. The only time he'll cuss is if it's in the lyrics.
Right.
But man, when we start up a show and he's got it, he's going on. He just friggin' grabs the crowd, and it's phenomenal. I'm like, man, you did a great. And I always, man, you did a great job. And he says, just watching people, and that's what you got to do. Something. Just keep on watching. Go to YouTube, see how some of these women just grab the crowd, and it'll come. It'll come for sure. For sure.
I've been playing with different things, you know. I feel like Ricky Bobby. Like, what do I do with my hands? Talladega Nights over here. Like Ricky Bobby, you can put your hands down. Like I'm over here, like hand here, hand here. I don't know.
and it's I guess it's different because you don't have anything to hide behind. Because I got a bass guitar. You know, you got maybe a mic stand. You know,
And that's when I do the best, but I don't have a lot of songs. Like, I just started singing Dreams, and that song for me has been an opener for movement because I can prop the mic up
Yep.
and just something about the way Stevie Nicks flows.
yes.
Just not even trying to flow the way she does on stage, but what her music makes you feel. I feel like I can just let my hands just freely move in front of me instead of me being a statue. Like I can touch the mic stand, I can just be with the music, and that's not typical for me.
Gotcha.
And it's like when I have my mic in one hand, I'm like, what do I do with this? And then I'll switch. I'm like, okay, now I feel like I can move this hand. It has a mind of its own, but where's this one's brain? And
Right.
You can always do the pointing thing.
Mm-hmm.
The pointing thing, that always works too.
I'm gonna have to have Franklin teach me that one.
Right.
I remember I did that at a show. I pointed at somebody. I guess I pointed, and someone came to me. They're like,
Why'd you point at me?
the next show.
I also don't want anyone thinking like that they could like
not
like
inviting
no.
Don't come up
No. You stay. It was part of the show. No.
So next time the person comes up, they goes, I came because you pointed at me, and I go, do you remember that? And you go, yeah.
Yeah, I remember
No
pointing at
clue.
you.
No clue. But it is what
Say,
it is.
bro, you were a face in a crowd.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
But if you say that, they feel offended because you don't remember them.
Right.
I'm telling all the secrets alive. I'm telling all the secrets about people.
Right. They won't know you're talking about them.
Maybe it's my autistic rigidness, but oh well.
Right.
So what about you? What's your karaoke song go to? What do you go to?
I do country more like I'm like Clint Black, like Killing Time is usually something like I would open
You guys
up
chat
with,
for a
something like
minute. I'll
that.
be right back. Because we're
I
going
think-
long in this podcast, and
Yeah,
I'm cool with that, but I'll
going
be
a
right
little
back.
long, so she's make sure everything's hadn't died yet on us. But yeah, and I've done a little bit of I've got friends up near Nashville and stuff. I've been to Tennessee and sang a little bit of country stuff, but just vocal stuff,
Mm-hmm.
not with a band. And but even you were talking about how you take the people's mind off their pressure and all. And that's how when I got into karaoke to begin with, I was selling cars at a car dealership.
Okay.
And so my manager's like, "Hey, come out to karaoke with me." That's how I de-stress
so-
from all this.
oh, that's
So
cool.
that is how I kind of.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
I kind of got in, back into music, I guess, kind of like you, because I was out of it for a long time. When I was younger, I was really interested in music and all, but then there was that time period where my first wife's like, "Oh, you can't sing, you need to be quiet," type thing, and it
Really?
goes to your
Oh,
head,
man.
and it's like so I thought for lots of years, like, oh, like you can't even sing, and it's like it's kind of just like you lose that dream, and then like karaoke's like opens something up.
Yeah, man.
And I'm not saying everybody that comes to karaoke can sing, but we have found a lot of good singers out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's some people that are just there to have fun, and there's
man.
a lot that are entertainers, and they put on a very entertaining show for us. Even if they don't have the best vocals, that doesn't always make a difference.
Yeah, I remember same thing. I was my senior year of high school. I decided I was gonna do the talent show, and I was gonna do Beth. So I did. They wanted us to sing in a private room, and to have the judges see us. And of course, I was okay. Yeah, it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do it in front of the whole school,
Right.
and of course, the B-man comes out. So I bring roses for all the judges, and then even later on, the judges were like, "Where was that guy at?" It's different.
Right.
So yeah.
It's like a stage persona.
Yes, it is, and like I said, so when it comes to karaoke's, you talked about country music. I got a friend who's also doing some recording named Brent Underwood. He's doing some recording from Fayetteville up there. But I was never big into country until I met my wife.
Mm-hmm.
My wife got me, she
Yeah.
would like test me. She'd play stuff, and I'd go, "That's so and so," and that's good. Like Tim McGraw, she loves Tim McGraw. And a couple of years ago, we flew up to up to New Jersey, and I took her to see Tim McGraw up there. And I've also gotten her I got her to meet Tim McGraw a couple of years ago, and she got a picture. She loves this picture so much, she actually printed it and framed it. It's on our mantle at my house. But it's cool. I mean, I made that happen, so I was happy for her. So.
If you hear that, Tim McGraw, you are on B-Man's mantle.
I was watching this thing on Jelly Roll, and it's like whenever he was he said, I knew I was hoping I was going to be big enough in country music that I would get to do something with the pro wrestling. That's when I knew I had arrived
Oh,
because
yeah.
they asked me to be part of WrestleMania
He was a
because
wrestler.
I
I
was a
saw
big enough
that.
celebrity
Yeah.
to get invited on
That's
there.
actually pretty good. A dream come true. A
amazing.
dream
Right.
come true for sure.
And then he lost all this weight recently, and it actually explained it on there. He was losing weight at the training center down there for the wrestlers. He moved down there in where they were doing it down in Florida, and all his weight loss thing was because he was going to get in the ring
good.
and get to do a few wrestling moves.
A dream over a dream. I mean,
Right.
One dream helped the other.
It helped
actual
him. It
passionate
gave him
dream
the
of that's cool.
motivation to actually lose the weight too,
That's
which
amazing.
helped him out in his overall life, of course. But that was just wild. It's just like how music can affect people, how pro wrestling entertainment, just all these forms of entertainment that people just like think, oh, get a real job type thing, and it's like, well, guess
Work
what?
is hard enough. It is a real job.
This is a real job, taking people's minds off their problems
Yes.
and giving them a relief for a little while.
I mean, and what we do, it can be a hobby, or it can be a full-time job. It's whatever you make it, whatever you want it to be.
And that was where we were kind of with Fear State. We came on, we popped in the scene, and we started building a crowd. We started building an audience. So then it was like, well, and I don't want to sound like it's about money, but in the end, if the club is making money,
Yeah.
then there's a draw. So you know,
Right.
okay, well we gotta
We need to
charge
share
you.
that. Yeah.
And it was about that. It's about paying the
Supports it.
people. Yeah, it supports it. I'm able to. Hey, there's going. We've got to drive from here to here, so they got to be paid. Stuff like that.
You want
so,
me to entertain you? I need the gas money to get there.
Exactly.
You know, it really it keeps us going. It keeps the money we bring in. Again, we said earlier, it doesn't always go straight to our pockets. You know, we need to keep the quality up
Yes.
to keep the demand for the people who are attending our shows. We started this just for us. We started just attending karaoke, and then got the opportunity to help some friends, and got the opportunity to help some friends, and now we have people helping us as friends doing what we love.
Yes, for sure.
It snowballed into a job. A hobby snowballed into a job.
So I'll bring this up. So my go-to karaoke song,
All right.
Yes, your go-to karaoke song as we
Is.
rabbit hole.
"Every Rose Has Its Thorn."
Ooh. I like it.
I don't know. I've always loved Poison, so it was just one of those songs
Right.
that's kind of easy to do. So every time if we got called up to do some kind of karaoke, that's what I picked. Don't know why. And it's funny because
And people they see you in the crowd, they're like, "Oh, you're in the band. You got to sing something. You got to
All
get."
right,
I
well,
know they
get ready.
pressure you into getting up
So-
there anytime
so-
you go to any karaoke.
If you show up to one of ours, I'm calling you out now. I'm signing you up. No questions. I'm
So-
not even
so-
going to ask you. I'm just going to tell you.
So our second date with my wife, we go to Patty's, and Patty decides to bring up Cindy, and it was funny because he wanted to play a song, and I told him what song, so it was "Every Rose Has Its Thorn." So he brings her up, and she's singing the song, and she's all like, "He's the one who picked the song." So I went up there and helped her do it. But yeah. So. So that just became the thing. So sometimes I've had some guys, hey, come up and do a song with us. And, well, do you know this? And so we played "Every Rose Has Its Thorn."
Right.
I don't know why.
See, what some people don't realize too, when they see live band members or singers that are in live bands at karaoke, and they ask them to do karaoke songs, and I've heard this from musicians, it's, I can't sing that karaoke version because we play it a certain way on stage.
Tuning and stuff
I
like that,
don't
yeah.
sing it like the original, so
Right.
what you're expecting to hear isn't what you're going to hear.
Yeah. It's because sometimes bands we tune down just to help the singer over a long period of time. A lot of stuff we do. Some of this is standard, but we pull it down a half step just to help Josh get through the whole night. Because you're not doing one song, you're
Right.
doing basically 3 hours worth of music. So
That's where the artistry comes in with covers.
yeah, for sure.
And we do have the ability on ours to actually drop. We can drop songs.
Oh, wow,
down,
really?
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
octaves and tempo actually.
Yeah, a lot of people
Speed
don't
and
realize it.
slow, higher or lower octaves by the half step.
That's actually pretty cool.
So yeah, and some people, it's like when they realize that, they're like, they're.
I'm kind of blown away. That's actually
Right.
pretty cool.
Now you know. Now you know.
But yeah, it's
we are willing
karaoke
to
has
work
come a
with you.
long way from the carrying the disc around days. So we actually got a lot more control over it nowadays.
So how many you guys do you guys do a weekend? Where at?
So we do the open mic karaoke. Boston does that at Legends on Monday.
Yep.
That's in Southern Pines.
We got Heather Lavender.
Yeah,
who
her and
also
Heather Lavender
DJs
do
that
it.
with
You know
me.
Heather.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then I guess Tuesday is like our off day basically, and then on Wednesday I'm at Strikers in Rockingham, the Strikers Lounge there. It's right by the bowling alley. So I do just we're doing that karaoke world championship auditions there this Wednesday.
Okay.
But we've been having normal karaoke there for a few years now, in that one spot. And like I said, when Boston's available, she'll pop in. You know, there from time to time that we have had other places that she would break off and go do karaoke over there. But and pretty much, I know you're familiar with O'Donnell's on
Yes.
Thursday nights.
Yep.
That's where Boston does karaoke.
Oh, okay, cool.
Every
So
Thursday.
yeah, so
Been
that's
doing the patio.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there is a noise ordinance in town now. They started setting that into place last summer. So instead of running until 1 a.m. on the patio, we do it till 11 a.m. And I actually set up half my equipment inside, half of it outside, and I
That's
do
cool.
a 15-minute transfer and get everything going so we can continue the show from 11 to 1 a.m.
Oh,
indoors.
cool.
yeah, so that's pretty wild. And then we're at Redino's in Southern Pines every Friday night.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot more of the stuff on TikTok. I've seen
Yeah.
the Sopines. They've been doing a lot of stuff, and
Yeah.
and I go, hey, there's so and so.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things like, hey, and the one thing that was really cool about, I would say, the Southern Pines scene, Sopine scene.
mm-hmm.
Man, I love it. I love that
Oh,
all
yeah.
you guys are so much together. You guys are like so tied together. No matter what music it is, the karaoke, just everything. It's
Right.
incredible to me. And when we first came there, it was a surprise to guys. Brian, because we need a band out there, so we took the show. And man, that first show was incredible, and everybody was so accepting. And man, I mean, they even like did a interview with us do an interview with me on the podcast up there. And It was really cool. And so from that first show there, I was like, man, I really love the scene, and I love the Fayetteville scene, but you guys have something really, really cool in Southern Pines.
There's something magic about Moore County when it comes to music, man.
Yes.
I swear. There's
really cool.
something magic in the music around there.
Yeah, it's really cool.
We're gonna be doing some open mic karaoke Saturday at Strikers. Like I said, the same place I'm at Wednesday, but this is our first time trying the open mic there.
Cool.
So we're looking forward to that. I know somebody's already requested Boston learn some song to play with them. It's like
A few
okay.
people have requested I learn songs on guitar, some backup vocals.
And it's like she said, I wasn't
Excited.
trying to take on a whole nother full-time job here just to do some open mic.
Hey,
karaoke.
how I see it is because I am like B-Man said, I do play music, but a lot of my time is taken up with karaoke and the other things we do to sustain our living and financial situations. So I don't have the time that I'd like to as much to play guitar and practice and get ready to perform. So if I'm able to tie open mic into my karaoke nights to give myself that chance and others the chance that may not always have that extra time to practice,
Gotcha.
here's that space.
Yeah,
Here's
yeah.
that space for me. Here's that space for you. And I like to open it up too to people who not only play a live instrument, but also that may produce their own beats online. I have a way that I can jack their a USB,
Oh,
a
that's cool.
computer. You can send me your file through email, and we will
Yes.
get your music and your art put up there to be heard.
We want to do a little comedy. Well,
Yeah,
throw
we
that
got
in too. I mean, hey, we haven't got it to where you can do any wrestling just yet, but you know, hey,
Hey, well,
don't put it past me.
so while you guys are doing your thing in Southern Pines, we're actually gonna be in the Southern Pines area sometime next week. We're playing at Camp Homefront
Okay, cool.
Saturday, the 25th. So it's
Saturday,
gonna be
what
pretty
time
Oh,
is
yeah.
that running at?
cool. I think we go on at 7 o'clock, and we go to like
Alright.
10 or 11. I can't remember.
That'll be
One
good.
of the bartenders used to be at O'Donnell's. You know, she saw us and then she contacted us to play.
What
so-
bartender was that? Do you know?
Caitlin,
Caitlin? Yeah.
because she's no longer there. I think she started working full time for this job. So yeah. So I guess it's I can say it's been really cool to be here with you guys. I appreciate you guys having us, and we'll have to set up the thing at Seeker's Cabaret with the rest of the guys. At least the two
Yeah.
young guys would be really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And so I guess
we'll have room that now that we kind of know we can kind of make it work to where we can fit more people in. We'll just have to bring. They can help us out with some extra mics if we need them.
Yeah, we got mics. We'll take care of it all. But yeah,
So
definitely.
we can make
They
it
already
work.
provided an extra long wire for me today.
Right.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, so we could have everybody with mics. Well, the board's going to limit us some, but yeah.
We definitely appreciate you guys.
Hey,
you
we-
having me on here.
We appreciate you accepting our invitation to be on the podcast because
and promoting. Thank you for promoting the band that in your area and coming to our event of where the strip club where we're all
Right.
started. We're all started, right? Because I don't think that was the first time you actually. I actually met you, right?
Did y'all come to that battle of the bands that they had in
Rockingham?
Rockingham?
Yes, we were there.
Okay, that's because I think that's where I first
She's
first saw you, but it wasn't no thing to where I was talking to you or anything.
Yeah.
I just
I was gonna
remember
ask you
y'all.
that.
Yeah, that
when
was
you said Rockingham, I was going to ask you that earlier.
because me and Boston were both there at that.
Okay. Yeah.
But
I destroyed a bass guitar and I got so much. I got
missed that.
praise. I got praise and then I got people talking crap. So it is
Right.
what it is. No biggie.
but yeah,
Can't
that's
make everybody happy.
Nope, that's what you can't do. As long as some kid out there goes, man, that's really cool. I want to do that.
oh yeah. That is going to do it for this edition of Entertainment After Dark with
Boston C.
and Bowtie.
And it's actually getting after dark here soon.
Right.
Hey, and
Special guest.
B-Man.
Thank you for
From
having
Fear
me. Appreciate
State.
it.
Yeah, make sure you check out the Dragon's Lair in Fayetteville. Check out Fear State on Facebook.
And get those CDs.
What was that website one more time that you can purchase this CD at?
FearStateShop.com.
FearStateShop.com.
Fear
Tune in
State
next
Shop.
Sunday for Entertainment
.com.
After Dark with us next week for episode 19. Have a fantastic week, everybody.